If you are trying to get and stay sober and you feel like you are doing everything and you don't understand why it's not working, or maybe why you're still miserable, there's one really important element that I want to share with you that I realized for me 10 years ago when I was working on getting and staying sober. It was an epiphany for me that I realized I was doing this to myself and I was getting in my own way. So before anyone goes and gets defensive, I want to remind you to open up your heart, to reflect on what are things that you could be doing differently to better yourself and for yourself, to build yourself a happy, sober life. Hi, I'm Kate. I am the author of the Addiction and Alcoholism Recovery Skills for Women book series. This is the first one, the pink one. I must have a green screen setting on because you can see through this one. This is actually a green book, but these are being used in rehabs, peer recovery support groups by therapists, etc. They've helped a lot of women and they could help you too. I've also created something really affordable to be used alongside these books, and it will help you so much if you let it. Everything's linked in the description below. So I'm going to get into this. What is this thing, this mysterious thing that I've been talking about? And I'm going to get my iPad going so I can have a little bit of a visual aid. But this thing that I realized that I was doing, and I'm going to reference AA. Whether or not you like AA is totally fine, as long as you're doing something for your recovery. But there's a saying in AA, and it says, half measures availed us nothing. And I had a lot of difficulty understanding a lot of the language in AA. It was written so long ago, but what does half measures availed us nothing mean? And one day it just dawned on me. I don't know why I didn't get it sooner. I consider myself a reasonably intelligent person, but it means you cannot half-ass this stuff. You cannot. You have to be going all in, balls to the wall on your recovery every single day, especially in those early days. I don't have to do that so much anymore. I am not acutely aware of, oh my gosh, I need to do everything I can to stay sober every day anymore. It goes away. But in those early days, you can't be sitting on the side of the pool with your feet in the water. You have to be in there, swimming, learning to swim, taking direction on how to do all the strokes and techniques so that you can actually stay sober. So that's what I'm saying. So you could be, so what could this be, right? So say you're like, I've been going to meetings. I'm going to meetings 3 times per week. That's not enough. You've got to up it. If you're still struggling and you're going to meetings, maybe it is enough. Maybe there are people going to meetings 3 times a week and they're living their best lives and they look so happy, and you don't understand why it's not working for you. You have to remember you're not them. If you're still struggling and you're doing some sort of recovery meeting, usually it's AA, but smart recovery, whatever it could be, and you realize that 3 times a week isn't working for you, you got to up it. And I know, you got to chase it as hard as you used to chase getting high or drunk. So you got to up it. 1 meeting per day. And then, have you read the book? Did you read the book? Did you read the literature? Read the literature. Did you get the sponsor? Have you worked with a sponsor? So here's how I got my sponsor. I was in a meeting and I was so done. I was chronically, I wouldn't even say I was relapsing. I was just still not able to quit. I was getting between 2 to 4 weeks sober, and then I would go out again, which means to relapse. And I was in a meeting and I was trying to get a sponsor. I had gotten one and she relapsed and she disappeared. And so I needed another one. And so I was in a meeting and there was a woman who shared, and I was so drawn to her. And after the meeting ended, I just beeline to her. I don't even know what overcame me, but I just went up to her and I said, will you sponsor me, please? And she said yes. And working with her was critical to everything clicking for me in my sobriety. She's amazing. I mentioned her in my book. Kelly, hi, if you're watching. You're amazing. I love you. I don't work with her anymore. I actually don't actively do AA anymore, but I do actively stay in touch with the fact that I cannot drink, and that fact is very sacred to me. Anyway, so sponsor, if you're doing AA. If you're not doing AA, totally get it. I understand why some people get turned off by AA, and that is fine. If you do AA, it's also wonderful, and I understand that too. Uh, that's supposed to be an arrow. It doesn't look like an arrow, does it? So if you're not doing AA, but you're listening to podcasts, you're doing smart recovery, um, you're doing refuge recovery, you're doing Dharma recovery, whatever it is you're doing, are you half-assing it? Are you going to the meetings but not implementing the tools? Are you listening to the podcast and maybe picking up a nugget or two and then forgetting about it, especially if you go and you drink that night and then you forget about it and you forget about the podcast you listened to that actually touched your heart? Go back and listen to it again. Go all in on your recovery. So that's what I mean by half-assing it. And this isn't something that is also just where it doesn't occur to you to, I'm going to the meetings but no, I haven't read the book, but I feel like the meetings should be enough. And I don't understand why I'm so miserable still. Um, Beyond just not reading the book, are there things that you are learning? That you're resisting? Like, so think about this resistance. Is there a tool that somebody is telling you you need to use, and you're saying, that's not for me, I don't like that? For instance, for me, it was meditation was one that comes to mind that I often think about still because I have a lot of difficulty. Meditating is difficult. And so I resisted it. I cannot stand a meditation meeting. I cannot stand group meditation. It does not work for me. No way. And it wasn't until recently, the past couple years, that I really got in touch with meditating and what it can do for me on a very personal level. I have to be alone, and so I figured out how to do it. So I was very resistant to meditation, and I would say meditation is something that will catapult you in your happiness and your inner peace. It's very, very, very difficult. And then also, are you judging? Are you being judgmental toward any suggestions? For instance, I I want to say God. For me, I was judgmental about God, and that's because I have a little bit of a religious trauma from when I was a child. So I was judging it from my perspective of what I thought God was from when I was a child. I still don't love the word God, but it's fine. I have my own connection with a God. I will call it God, a higher power, whatever, what have you. And I connect with it more when I meditate. So are you judging certain suggestions? Are you making assumptions that they just won't help you, or they're dumb even, or silly, whatever it could be? And then another thing is, if you ever thought you tried something, somebody suggested something to you and you thought you tried it. And this, I have an example also from myself. Thought you tried it, but didn't. I have to practice writing on this. Really try it. So for instance, early on, when my family was beseeching me to go get help, I booked an appointment with a therapist once a week. And I thought that that was plenty. I was like, okay, great. I'm going to go get help. Once a week therapist. And my brother was pissed at me. And I couldn't understand why, because I was like, this is what you wanted. I don't get it. So if you're thinking you're doing something, think about how you can do that thing more, especially if that thing is giving you a little bit of progress or you're feeling connected to it a little bit. Lean into it more, lean all the way into it, fall face first into it if you can. And then you will have some breakthroughs. So be about your sobriety all day, every day, hardcore in the early days, especially if you're having setbacks. Um, so so it's important, we don't want to cherry pick things that sound good to us. We don't want to judge things. Let's go back over it. We don't want to resist things that just don't feel right at first for us. We don't want to judge things. We don't want to brush things off, that people are telling us, you really got to try this for your sobriety. So don't half-ass your sobriety. I have some notes that I've been looking at to make sure that I say all the things that I want to say. So that's why I'm looking over here some too. So I also want to say that there will be things that once you fully try them, you realize, this doesn't really work for me. And then you can move on from it. That is okay. That happens. And I want to also just remind you that this isn't a perfect journey. It's not going to be perfectly linear like that. So this is you. You want to get sober. You want to get sober. And this is time. It's not going to look like this. For me, it looked like this. Like that. Okay, it can be messy here. And if you're in this messy part of it, be patient with yourself and kind to yourself. If you want to watch a video that's a little bit more about the resistance piece, I'm going to go into this in further detail. So if that resonates with you, definitely watch that video next.